Hi, I'm Katie, your safety trainer, and in today's video, we're going to talk about medical oxygen safety. Medical oxygen is a powerful tool in healthcare. Because it's used to help treat a wide range of medical conditions, it's actually considered a drug. You'll find oxygen therapy being used in hospitals, urgent care clinics, recovery centers, long-term care facilities, and even in people's homes. When used correctly, it's incredibly helpful. But if something goes wrong, like a mistake with the equipment or the amount of oxygen being given, it can become dangerous for both the patient and for you. Train, track, remind. Train, track, remind! Do it! Train, track, and remind. Safety training doesn't have to be expensive or complicated. With GotSafety Lite, you get unlimited access to over 2,000 professionally made safety videos, all in English and Spanish, for just $10 a month. No contracts, no hidden fees, just simple, effective training. But maybe you need more than just videos. With our full GotSafety app, our learning management system, you can train, track, and remind your employees automatically. And what if you've already spent tens of thousands of dollars building your own learning management system? We get it. You don't have to start over. We can supply the content so you can keep using the system you've already paid for. But here's the kicker. If there's a video you need that we don't have, we'll make it for you at no cost, because we're that confident you'll love GotSafety. 3 ways to get the training you need. 1 place to get it all. GotSafety, train, track, and remind. In this video, we're going to walk through the different types of devices used to deliver medical oxygen. We'll also look at the hazards you might face, the personal protective equipment you may need to wear, and some simple safety practices that can help reduce the risk of something going wrong while working with oxygen therapy. Just a quick note before we begin. This lesson isn't meant to help you diagnose or treat anyone. That should always be left to a licensed physician. When it comes to oxygen therapy, there are quite a few different devices that can be used to deliver it, depending on the patient's needs and the setting. You might come across compressed oxygen cylinders, liquid oxygen cylinders, or oxygen concentrators, which can be either stationary or portable. Each one works a little differently, but they all serve the same goal: getting the right amount of oxygen to the person who needs it. Now, those oxygen cylinders and concentrators often have devices attached that actually deliver the oxygen to the patient. You may see things like nasal cannulas, both low flow and high flow versions, as well as a variety of face masks, including simple masks, Venturi masks, and non-rebreather masks. In some cases, oxygen might be delivered through continuous positive airway pressure, or CPAP, or bilevel positive airway pressure, or BiPAP systems, which help keep airways open by applying constant or alternating pressure. There's also a chance you might hear about or encounter hyperbaric chambers being used for oxygen therapy. While there are home versions out there now, most medical professionals and organizations strongly suggest that this type of treatment be done at a licensed facility to ensure safety. If you're ever unsure about helping with the hyperbaric setup or have any questions about how it's being used, it's always best to check in with your supervisor. When you're helping with oxygen therapy, there are a few hazards you need to be aware of, not just for the patient, but for yourself too. One of the more common issues is nosebleeds, and that's usually caused by the nasal passages drying out from the oxygen flow. It's uncomfortable, but it can happen if the moisture in the air isn't balanced. Another serious concern is the risk of burns or fire. Oxygen itself doesn't burn, but it does make things catch fire much more easily. That means smoking, even electronic cigarettes, is extremely dangerous around oxygen therapy. If there's a spark or open flame anywhere near the oxygen, it can accelerate the fire and create a dangerous situation fast. You also need to be cautious about giving too much oxygen. When someone receives more oxygen than they're supposed to, it can lead to something called oxygen toxicity. This comes in 2 forms: central nervous system toxicity and pulmonary toxicity. If someone is getting too much supplemental oxygen, they might start experiencing pain when they breathe, coughing, or shortness of breath. If the person is undergoing hyperbaric oxygen therapy and they're having a reaction, you might notice things like dizziness, ringing in the ears, visual changes, confusion, or even hiccups. To help keep everything clean and safe when you're working with oxygen cylinders or concentrators, it's important to wear the right personal protective equipment for both the equipment you're handling and the person you're assisting. This helps reduce the chances of contamination and also protects against the spread of disease. Wearing a medical face mask and a fresh pair of disposable gloves is essential. Before you put anything on, always take a moment to inspect the PPE you've been given. If something looks worn out or damaged, let your supervisor know right away. You should never use damaged PPE, since it might not protect you or the patient the way it's supposed to. Whenever you're helping with oxygen therapy, it's really important to make sure the space around you is safe before anything begins. That means checking the room for anything that could cause a spark or a flame. Oxygen can make fires much more dangerous, so your facility's policies will often have strict rules about what should and shouldn't be nearby. If someone is smoking or using a vape, they need to be clearly told about the risks that come with doing that around supplemental oxygen. It's also important to make sure oxygen cylinders are placed far enough away from anything that could create heat or a spark, usually around 6 feet from electrical appliances, depending on the guidelines where you work. You'll also want to look around for anything that could mix poorly with oxygen, like oils, greases, aerosol sprays, lotions, or solvents. These items can react dangerously, so they need to be kept away from the equipment. Once the area is safe, check that all required signs are posted, especially ones that say oxygen is in use and that smoking is not allowed. Before you start therapy, make sure you're working with the right person by following your facility's patient verification process. Then, take a good look at the oxygen equipment. If anything looks damaged or isn't working properly, it shouldn't be used under any circumstance. Let your supervisor know or the prescribing physician know, and follow your facility's steps for handling broken or malfunctioning equipment. And of course, before therapy begins, check that the oxygen cylinder has enough oxygen for the session. If it's running low, follow your facility's process to either refill it or replace it with a new one. Once you've confirmed there's enough oxygen, the next step is to make sure the cylinder itself is safely secured so it can't tip over. A falling tank can cause serious injuries or damage, so proper placement really matters. If you're using a concentrator instead, make sure it's set up in a spot where it won't be blocked by furniture and where it won't overheat or create a fire hazard. Before starting the therapy, double check that everything is connected properly. That includes the nasal cannulas, face masks, or humidifiers. Whatever the setup is, it needs to be securely attached according to the manufacturer's guidelines and your facility's procedures. It's important to confirm the oxygen dosage with the resident or patient, and when needed, check with the prescribing physician as well. Residents or patients shouldn't be adjusting the flow rate on their own, and the dosage should never be changed unless a prescribing physician has approved it. While the resident or patient is on oxygen therapy, make sure to monitor them closely and follow your facility's policies throughout the process. If you see anything that seems off, like the therapy not working the way it should, or the person showing signs that something's wrong, it's important to let your supervisor or the prescribing physician know right away. Once the session is over, double check that the oxygen cylinder or concentrator has been fully turned off. Follow the manufacturer's instructions and your company's procedures to do this properly. And finally, when the equipment isn't in use, be sure it's stored correctly, whether it's a cylinder or a portable concentrator. Safe storage helps prevent accidents and keeps the equipment ready for the next use. To wrap things up, medical oxygen is considered a drug because it's used as a treatment for a wide range of medical conditions. Just like any other prescription, it might be used in places like hospitals, urgent care centers, recovery facilities, residential care homes, or even in someone's own home. While it's a very effective form of therapy, it can also be dangerous if the equipment isn't handled properly or if the dosage isn't followed as prescribed. To help keep everyone safe, always treat oxygen therapy equipment with care and follow the dosing instructions provided by the prescribing physician. And if you ever have questions or something doesn't feel right while you're assisting with oxygen therapy, don't hesitate to reach out to your supervisor. That's all for today's lesson. If you like this video, look for us on social media. And remember, stay safe out there. If someone is smoking or using a vape, they need to be clearly told about the risks that come with doing that. It's like, I don't even know what I was thinking, but that did not sound good. Residents or patients shouldn't be doing it. While the resident or patient on, yes.